Holy moly, guys, some of y'all still are not subscribed. Go down, hit that subscribe, and let's get in to the deck roast. Let's begin. 3 Dark Magician. Now, honestly, on Master Duel, you can get away with 3, so it's like, yeah, whatever. The problem is he's playing Dark Magician Girl at 2. Konami, is this really what you want us to do with the deck? You want us to play multiple of the brick cards? That is very questionable. The 1 Mahat, at least it's at 1. That's what I'm going to say. At least it's at 1. It's a 0 or it's a 1. It's never anything more than that, and it's the same for the girl. It's a 0 or a 1. It's just stock standard. You don't want to see these cards. You want to send them off Magician Souls, so you just don't want to play more than 1. Dark Magician's kind of in a similar boat nowadays with Red Eyes Fusion and Dragoon and Anaconda. Of course, Master Duel doesn't have that, so if you wanted to max out on any of the bricks, well, this is the one to do it. He does have the most synergy with the deck. You can add him off Circle. You can summon him with Navi, Eternal Soul. It's still not the best card. Let's just point out, Konami got 1 ratio right. Eternal Soul at 1. Congratulations. 3 Soul Servant. Congratulations. But let's go back to the monsters because we skipped ahead a bit. 3 Apprentice. In a build with 3 DM, you may as well play 3 Apprentice. Let's be real. Like, sure, why not? The Maha, yeah, don't really need to play this, but sure. The Magician of Dark Illusion. This is kind of your 4th copy of Dark Magician, though it's a little easier to summon, but also not. It's a questionable card. You could play it if you wanted. It's kind of another 1 or none. It's more leaning towards none for me. Reborn, I mean, it's a Yugi deck, so sure, you gotta play your Reborn in your Yugi roleplay deck, so why not? People know my opinion on this card. It's a very good side deck card for like Mystic Mind matchups or weird Eldritch matchups, but even then, it's not that great. You need to have DM out, which is annoying. If you could just play it for free, well, obviously everyone would play it then, so it would just be Harpies. But Harpies is still kind of low-key better, and because you're a going first deck, you should never really main deck this card. I know it's very searchable, but that doesn't mean you should play it. 1 for 1. Someone asked me the other day in the comments why we don't play this, and, well, to be quite frank, it sends a monster from hand to grave for cost. So yeah, if you get ashed on this, it's really freaking bad in a deck where we struggle to get anything done without 3 to 4 cards. You're just giving up 2 right here. And even if you do get to Magician Souls through this, it didn't do what Magician Souls is meant to. Magician Souls is meant to put Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl or whichever brick you're playing in the bin. So how does 1 for 1 work with Magician Souls? It just really doesn't. And to be honest, if you want to play this in Dark Magician, I would highly suggest reading the cards and just kind of going, what does Magician Souls on the field do for me? I can send spell traps to draw, but I've used 2 cards to get to it. Is that worth it? Fuck no. Please do not play this in Dark Magician. It is trash. The card is at 1 because it's very good in other decks. For example, Red Eyes, where you're summoning out Black Metal Dragon. This card is amazing in that instance. Not in Dark Magician. Alright, the controversial card. Here, it's at 2. And you know what? I've spoke about this ratio before. I've said, if you're going to play Eye of Timaeus, the controversial card, there's a couple of ways you could go about playing it. Well, for 1, it's an unsearchable card. And what do we think about unsearchable cards? You got to play them at 3, because how are you going to see them? But then you think, well, this card is very dead without Magician Souls or a way to get DM on field, so it's kind of a brick. You know, a lot of people say, brick on Eye of Timaeus. Well, if it's a bricky card, then maybe we ought to cut it back to 1, you know? You don't really want to see it. You do want to see 1, though, so maybe we'll play 1, right? Then we'll never brick on it. Cool. But then, of course, at 1, you're not seeing it enough for it to do anything. So 2 is kind of the sweet spot, I want to say, for this card. And that's surprising that Konami kind of got that ratio right, I want to say. Of course, the most correct take is to just not play Eye of Timaeus, in my opinion. But for the people who want to play it strictly, I think 2 is a good number. 3, I think you're going to hurt yourself more than you're going to, be able to use it. And 1, I think, is just never going to be there when you need it. I think 2 is the sweet spot. But once again, we're talking about a card that is not very good. Keep in mind, Eye of Timaeus, if it was searchable, would be amazing because you would simply use Magician's Rod to search Eye of Timaeus, Magician Souls to summon out Dark Magician, play your Eye of Timaeus, and there you go. There's no longer a need for Verte Anaconda. You could get into Dragoon or any of your fusions with 2 cards, and Illusion of Chaos obviously would help make that a little more consistent. So I don't hate Eye of Timaeus, guys. I hate that it's not searchable. It's actually a very decent card if we could search it. The keyword being if. Bond between teacher and student. Now, I've started to fall in love with this card thanks to Master Duel. It does give you a nice play with Dark Burning Magic, and can we appreciate that Konami actually put Bonds and Dark Burning in here and kind of didn't mess up the ratio of 1 and 1. Yes, they did put in Dark Burning attack, which is terrible. Please don't play this, guys. All you need to play is, for your Bonds package, the Bonds and the Dark Burning Magic. That is it. Now, of course, he's playing Dark Magic attack as well, but yeah, just side deck this, This is good because it's quick play, okay? I cannot stress that enough. We're going first deck. If you do open Rod and Magician Souls, you are able to maximize the value of bonds by setting this, because naturally your Magician Souls can summon Dark Magician, and that means your Rod can search your bonds, and that means you can summon out DMG and set your Dark Burning Magic. So going first is a very good option. Going second, some people like it as well, but setting this going second is not good. You can't activate it. It's a quick play spell, so you can't actually flip it up. So let's just emphasize once again, the bonds package is strictly one bond and one Dark Burning Magic. That's the only 2 cards you'll need for that package. All the other cards are dog shit. Alright, let's move on. We already spoke about this card. This card sucks. Magic Eye. Sure, this card's good. In this deck, it can only summon the Dark Magicians, Dark Cavalry, Amulet Dragon, Dark Paladin, and Dark Magician. No, she's a dragon, so not her. And Quintet, of course. So there's some good boss monsters you can summon with it. Unfortunately, the Dragon Knights, which are normally the ones you want to summon. Well, you want to summon this one. You don't care about this one. They can't be summoned with Magic Eye, which sucks. 3 circle. I always think, even on Master Duel, you just play 2. It's just still... You gotta think about this card is this card gives Dark Magician an effect. These cards should essentially be the same card, right? Dark Magician should just be an effect monster with the effect, when I'm summoned, I target a card and I banish it. That is essentially what Circle does, give him an effect. So in reality, we don't actually want to promote this card very much. Like, Circle is a dog shit card, and people who defend it, I think they're a little bit... delusional, or just blocked by nostalgia, or like they just want to keep playing the deck the way they played it in 2015 or whatever. But like, guys, you gotta move on and realize this card is not that great. Maybe down the line when we have a spell that this can add that's really good, like a spell that summons from deck, or a spell that generates a fusion monster for free, or a spell that, you know, does anything with a hint of like starting, like a starter, basically a spell that starts our combos or starts our engine, then Circle's value will increase, and I will say, guys, play 2, play 3. Like, but for now, Circle can only get you cards like Dark Magician, Soul Servant, Eternal Soul, all cards that need other cards to function, right? And that is the theme of the deck once again. But what we want to do is maximize on cards that get us going, like Magician's Rod, Magician's Souls potentially. So yeah, Circle is still just a 2 to me in Master Duel. If you wanted to play 3, fine, fuck it. I don't give a shit. Have fun bricking on Circle. That's all I got to say to that. And yes, Circle does synergize extremely well with Soul Servant. That is the whole purpose of Soul Servant, I believe. So if you do open Circle and Soul Servant, you do have a way to Eternal Soul. What's interesting is this deck isn't playing Salvation. I just realized, why would they not put Salvation in here? They want 2 Dark Magician Girl and no Salvation. Are they crazy? But, you know, they had to make room for freaking Strength and Unity. This card is terrible. I'm not even going to talk about it. Just don't play it. It's bad. Secrets are 1. See, this is actually another good ratio. Secrets is a great one-of in Dark Magician, especially in Master Duel where there's not a lot else going on with the deck. This card sucks. I'm not even going to talk about it. Dark Renewal is absolute garbage. Please just play something better. Play a Solemn card. Play Ice Dragon's Prison. Play Torrential Tribute. Skill Drain, there's infinite options. Don't play this dog shit. Just because it has the Dark Magician ring on it doesn't mean you have to play it, guys. It's not even searchable. Like, just stop. Mirror Force, like, this is here for nostalgia and, like, Yugi moments. If you want to play Mirror Force, I don't give a shit. It's not that great, but sure. Do what you want. Magician's Navigation. This card is weird. This card at 2 is weird. Like, I feel like even at 1, it's still too bricky. This card used to be really good. I guess in a build with Apprentice, actually, you could get away with playing it. So that's fine, I guess. I still just don't like this card. It's way too slow for modern day Yu-Gi-Oh! But if you wanted to play like a build more focused on rank 7s, Navigation can be a way to do that. I still just think it's too slow. If it was a spell, it would be amazingly broken, but it kind of has to be a spell to live up to 2022's like metagame. And it just, like, what does this do against Drytron, guys? It doesn't do fucking shit. Now, Clap, you negated one of their spells maybe, but you can't do that till past turn, like, 4. Because you need to activate Navigation, summon out DM, and then have it in the grave for a turn after that, and then you can negate something. Like, it's just too long. The payoff takes too long. If we get a card that lets us dump this from deck, sure, maybe we'll play it more, or just play it at 1. But it's just too inconsistent. Like, just play. People are like, oh, the spell trap negate, Just play Solemn Judgment. Just play Solemn Judgment, guys. Like, I don't get it. Destined Rivals, this card, everyone described it as skill drain, but for Dark Magicians, it's not. Blue Eyes and Dark Magician don't like this card at all. It's dog shit. Just play Skill Drain. Like, it's at 3. Just play Skill Drain. Yeah, this card is searchable, but it only negates face-up monsters on the field when you flip it. It's not like a continuous, so what's really the point? If this card was like that Harpy trap, where it's like, yo, your opponent can't use monster effects for the turn, sure, we would use this. But it's just face-up monsters on the field at the time, which is normally just their starter. Like, their normal summon Alistair, and you do this. And they're like, okay, sure. And then they just play the invocation anyway. So, I just don't think this is that great. If you want to try it, sure, just play it at 1, if anything, and even then, it's dog shit. Eternal Soul at 1, sure, I think this should be at a higher ratio on Master Duel. It should be at 2, probably, with a Salvation. It's weird that Salvation's not in here, but there's a lot of other questionable cards in here. And combination, this card is strange. It requires a lot of setup. You need DM on field or DMG on field and the opposite in the grave, and that's how you swap them out for the effect. It's just a really badly worded and, I want to say, inconsistent card. This card should have summoned from deck. If it's summoned from deck, we would play it. Like, it would be an easy card to play at 1. Easy. Easy. We would search it off Rod and just set it, and then bam, we have a negate if we have Magician Souls, because it would summon DMG or DM, and then you could flip combination and summon the other one and negate something. Great. Why didn't they do that? I don't know. Konami stinky. So yeah, unfortunately, combination suffers from a similar problem to a lot of the other cards in the deck, where it just needs too many things to be lined up for it to be good. And to me, that's a kind of shit card. But sure, if you want to play this card, go for it. There are some combos that do make this card a lot more viable, like with the Red Eyes Meteor Dragon that's coming out. I can show that off later. It's really cool. Let's get into the extra deck. 2 Dark Magician Girl, the Dragon Knight. Now, this card's questionable at 1, let alone 2. I wouldn't play it. It's not good. You can only summon off Eye of Timaeus. You could play Secrets and play Imdok, but they're not playing Imdok because this is a Yu-Gi-Oh! Roleplay deck, so it's kind of stupid. But yeah, if you're going to play this, at least play like other ways to get to it besides Eye of Timaeus, or just be a big brainer and don't play it. Dark Paladin, this card freaking sucks too. There's just no good way to summon it. Yeah, you can Eye of Timaeus. Once again, Eye of Timaeus is not a viable option for summoning anything. Yeah, you could just hard open it. Wow, you're a good player. Clap, clap. If I'm going to play a card in my deck that's like a unsearchable blowout card, I'm going to play Lightning Storm. I'm going to play Duster. I'm going to play Evenly Matched. I'm going to play Nibiru. Like, I don't know why I would want an unsearchable card in my deck to be part of like my engine requirements to make my good cards. Like, it's just a really dumb mechanic, and Konami should really fix that. Or just, they're not going to fix it because they made us a new Timaeus in the TCG, and it's really bad. I want to say it's worse than Eye of Timaeus nearly, or they're pretty much on the same level of bad. It's just searchable, but it's way worse because you need to send a card from field, so it freaking sucks. Amulet Dragon, this card is basically a budget version of Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight. I'm not sure why they've even bothered calling it Amulet Dragon. They should have just called it like freaking Timaeus something and been like, this card's always Dark Magician, since like the artwork is literally Dark Magician riding Timaeus. And yet in this card, where it's clearly Dark Magician Knight, which is a different card for those who don't know, it doesn't even look like Dark Magician Knight. It looks like Dark Magician mixed with Breaker. But anyway, it's Dark Magician the Dragon Knight riding Timaeus once again, but this card identifies as Dark Magician, and that's good, but I want all the fusions to do that. Especially the ones that literally have Dark Magician on them. Like, there is Dark Magician riding Timaeus. Make this card Timaeus and make this card Dark Magician. It's not hard. This card literally has Dark Magician Girl and Dark Magician on it. They look a little different. Their designs are a little changed, but that's definitely them. They may be a little older, a little stronger, a little wiser. Why not have this card identify as both Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl, or at least one of them? Konami, it's a no-brainer. Just fix the archetype for me. Like, goddamn, Konami, what are you trying to make us angry? Like, if you're gonna give us fusions that literally have DM in them, make them identify as DM. The same way all the invoked fusions are all invoked, and Alistair can buff them all. I mean, he can buff any fusion, but the point is, let us freaking have them as Dark Magician so they synergize with Circle, they synergize with Eternal Soul, and the deck just gets better from there. So yeah, coming back to Amulet Dragon, card is garbage. Some people are like, it's really good to beat Strikers because you banish every spell in the grave. Sure, you know what else is good against Strikers? Secret Village. Just play Secret Village and Dragoon and you win. I know there's no Dragoon in Master Duel, but I'm just saying. Anyway, Dark Magician the Dragon Knight, the best fusion in this deck. I want to say, besides maybe Quintet, but that's like a blowout one. This one's like the best boss monster we have that's not like 5 material to summon, but it is still very awkward to summon. Of course, the easiest way to summon it is Eye of Timaeus and Magician Souls. Once again, not a viable way to summon it. The other way is using Secrets of Dark Magic, plus a dragon. Normally it's Imduk. Once again, this deck doesn't have it because Konami bad. They don't know how to build their own decks. What's new? They also probably were trying to stick to the whole Yugi theme, but whatever. Clearly there's some non-Yugi cards in here, so like, go figure. Like, there's an element of theme, but also not. So anyway, this card is a great one-off because once you have it out, you can just essentially keep recycling it with Eternal Soul, which is really good. And of course, it triggers your Circle when it's summoned, and it protects all your back row. So the card itself is great. It's one of the best pieces of support we have. We don't have a way to consistently or effectively or efficiently summon this card. I've said it so many times because people are always like, LOZA, why don't you like this card? I do. I do like it. We don't have a good way to summon it till Branded Fusion, and that is so far away, guys. So far away. So yeah, great card if you can get it out. Kind of wins you I want to say it almost wins you the game. If you have this plus Circle and Eternal Soul, you've got the better version of the Dark Magician Triangle. Yes, yeah, I know, the Dark Magician Triangle, that concept I introduced. So some people were commenting like, LOZA, you're wrong. The real Dark Magic Triangle is Circle, Eternal Soul, and Dragon Knight. It's like, yes, we are all aware of it. Like, they're just stating it like there's some sort of scholar that's made a discovery that we didn't know. It's like, yeah, genius, we know. There's just no way to... There's no way to consistently get this out yet, so why would we bother with that in the whole triangle theory? It's like I'm talking to a brick wall or a 5-year-old or both, and it really hurts. So basically, the reason the triangle uses the vanilla Dark Magician and Circle and Eternal Soul is because sometimes just establishing that is hard enough. I'm not going to bring into it a fusion that's super hard to summon. Yes, it's a better version of Dark Magician. No fucking shit. We can all read cards here. We've all played this card. We know that it's good. Good luck summoning it and getting Circle and Eternal Soul turn 1. It's essentially impossible. You can maybe do it, but you're not going to do it through interruptions, are you? So, shut up. Okay? Shut the fuck up. Okay. Let's move on to the next card. Dark Cavalry. This card absolutely destroyed Duel Links. When it was added to Duel Links, it was too strong. People were making decks to turbo it out, not in Dark Magician necessarily, but just decks that could turbo it out through the Hex Sealed Fusion, being able to identify as any fusion material, and they would fuse it with some ridiculous shit. I can't exactly remember, but I remember versing the deck on ladder a lot, because having a card that can negate targeting in Duel Links is so good, because everything in Duel Links targets. Like, Duel Links is playing a meta that's basically GOAT format on steroids, so... You know, every card targets from back then. So this card was just crazy. And it's not once per turn, so you can keep discarding and just negating stuff and destroying it. So it's super good. It also does piercing, so in Duel Links, a lot of people just T-set when they're bricked, or just, you know, that's a thing that happens. So this card just goes, I don't care, pierces through, gains 100 for each spell trap in the grave, so it actually gets quite beefy. Normally comes out on at least 2900 because of the fusion spell you use, which is normally magicalized. So yeah, this card is actually, like, good in a vacuum. In certain formats, it's very good. In TCG, terrible. In Master Duel, I wouldn't even bother. It needs a warrior, which is super awkward, and like, yeah, obviously Eye of Timaeus wants to... I don't want to say Eye of Timaeus every time, because the card's garbage and you shouldn't play it. But you can summon it that way, or I don't know how to incorporate a warrior. We don't have a way to incorporate a warrior into this deck yet. If we did, I would show you guys, but we don't have like a link to make that's an easy warrior, the same way we have Imdark. So, I don't know, go figure. If you want to play this card, probably don't. The Dark Magicians. This is one of the most questionable cards, I want to say, in our archetype for a number of reasons. Like I said earlier, the fact that it's not DM or DMG is kind of a hate crime. I know that it summons both of them upon being destroyed. Guess what? Your opponent can read your cards and go, oh cool, I'm just going to, you know, Nightmare Unicorn and shuffle it away. Oh, I'm just going to destroy it by another means. Oh, I'm just going to pop it and then Ash Blossom the effect. Like, the fact that people, like, defend this card by saying, oh, it draws you a card and it floats into stuff, like, yeah... It just, you're relying on those effects, like, confirmed happening. The way they pitch this card is like that both of those effects are going to resolve, and they don't always resolve. People do Impermanent Veil of this card when you're just trying to draw one. People do Ash it even on that. People will Ash the second effect. Like, this card's basically a missed opportunity, like a massively missed opportunity. It could have been a lot better, and I think that's my overall gripe with it. It's just not that great. And while, yes, it is good in Master Duel, it's probably one of the better fusions to make since it's so generic in Master Duel, it still suffers from a lot of the problems that the same Dark Magician cards do, of taking too many resources to be summoned, not giving you enough back. It's all the classics. It's no Dragoon. It does make playing DMG, like, slightly more viable, which is kind of what they're leaning towards. But we're going to need more. We're going to need more before we commit to DMG. I mean, you have to play her on Master Duel anyway, because there's no mana, and Mahad kind of sucks, so go figure. Quintet! This is one of the good cards in here. Quintet's a blowout card that will win you a lot of games. You normally make it off Magicalized Fusion and your Anaconda. Of course, there's no Anaconda in this deck, because Konami, once again, doing the monkey brain, going, Unga Bunga, Yugi would not use Anaconda, so we will not. Okay, well, guess what, Konami? I don't think Yugi would ever use Strength and Unity either. Some people say this is a DM card simply because, like, it's a spellcaster with a hood and stuff similar to DM, and he's got the Dark Magical Circles around him. Guys, when a card has the Dark Magic Circle around it, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a DM card. There's a lot of cards that are spellcaster related that do, but I do understand the connection, and I wish this was a DM card myself, but it is not. Still an amazing card. Please play it. It's very good. You only need one, by the way. Naruto, now I'm playing this on Master Duel because it's good to rank up into Zeus and shit like that, and it can negate spell traps if you need to. And that's pretty much it. It's not too great. You normally have to use 3 cards to get here, and what I mean by that is Magician Souls does need to summon out your Dark Magician, so that's 1 card. Then you need to summon Apprentice, which is discarding any other card, which means it's 3 cards to get there. Of course, if you do get here, you could call it a 2.5 card combo, 3 cards. To be realistic. When you do get to Naruto, of course you can rank him up into Ebon Illusion Magician, which is very good because it means you will be special summoning a Dark Magician from the deck. A lot of people have seen my decks and go, LOZA, you only play 2 DM, why are you even playing Ebon? Like, you can't get the full value. And I'm like, bro, like, look at my extra deck. Like, Naruto is in it. If Naruto is in there, there's a pretty good chance I'm just going to rank up into this. So this can obviously summon Dark Magician from deck, and when a normal spellcaster attacks, you get to banish cards. So it's kind of like another circle. It's also got the ring behind it, so it is definitely a sort of DM related card. It's a very good card, to be honest. It's one of our better cards that we have that's kind of extended support of DM. The problem is it's fallen out of kind of the way we can use it. We don't have a way to summon a level 7 spellcaster turn 1 outside of Magician Souls. Sure, you could play Tenyiva Shooter, and down the line you could play the Red Eyes Meteor Dragon, or you could play like Chronicle Magician. Hell, you could even play like Danger Dog Man or something, some other terrible level 7s that summon themselves. But the main point is, summoning 2 level 7s turn 1 is not really our go-to plan. It's normally just making Anaconda, or setting up Circle Eternal Soul, or setting up Bonds with Dark Burning Magic. So this card is kind of a from turn 3 or turn 2 onwards play. Even then, it's not that great, I want to say. It doesn't do anything going first as well, so yeah. Questionable card for the archetype, helps us to play second, but is a little tricky to make. And yeah, some people are like, I play 3DM to get full value on this card, and I'm like, are you serious? Like, you're barely gonna summon this. Like, I'm gonna play 2DM and fix my hands 90% of my games, rather than play for an extra deck card I'm barely gonna make. And of course, they're playing 2 copies of this for some reason. Sure, why not? You only really need 1, but sure. Another card in here that's actually good, the BLS Link 3. I talk about this card quite a bit. I don't always make it, but when you do make it, you feel like it's kind of a win more card. I feel like you're already in a winning position, because if you can get to if you can get to a Link 3, you can get to Selene, which means you can get to Access Code, which just means you can get to like anything really. But yeah, once again, this is a good card that they put in here, so I got to give Konami credit where it's due, and this card is good. So there's a couple of good cards in the extra deck: BLS. The Dark Magician, the Dragonite, Quintet, Naruto, and one Ebon. Don't really need more than that. And in the main deck, there are some good ratios like 3 Rod, 3 Souls, 1 Eternal Soul, 1 Secret, and 3 Soul Servant. And the Bonds package is nearly good. It's got Bonds and it's got Dark Burning, but the problem is they're playing Burning Attack and Dark Magic Attack as well, which are terrible. And of course, we've got some controversial things like this is just terrible. Like, they could have just put Upstart. You guys know how good Upstart is in DM. And if this deck is Yugi themed, right? This deck is all Yugi themed. But what is this? Why did they put this in? This has nothing to do with Yugi. No one in the anime ever played this. This is just like they needed to fill space, so they put this in. Why didn't they just put Upstart? It's perfect DM card. Once again, of course, none of this matters. It's just a Konami deck that the bot's going to use to verse you with. But it's just interesting to see how Konami like make the deck and how they think like to play it, because using 1 for 1 and like say sending Dark Magician to the grave to summon out Magician Souls, that's so bad. Like, you've used 2 cards to get to Magician Souls, and then what? Magician Souls are going to send some cards and draw? Wow. That's so bad. You're already down a card. Like, just open Magician Souls and give us Illusion of Chaos. Like, goddamn. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the deck roast. It was a bit of a different one today. But yeah, Konami, they freaking suck. We've known for a long time that they do not know how to build the deck. They've given us so many different pieces of support that even when they build a deck, they kind of just don't know which pieces to use. They just slap in random ones here and there. I was surprised there was no rituals, but there you go. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you next time.